Okay, so let's unpack this because it's kind of wild. Imagine paying $18,000.
18,000. Wow.
Yeah, 18 Kalers for like a weekend thing they called an alpha male boot camp. And apparently part of it involved getting sprayed with a hose.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. And playing in the sand. That's what people were saying in this Reddit thread we looked at. The whole program's apparently shut down now.
And that Reddit thread is our source here. People were really reacting strongly, sharing what they saw, what they thought about it all.
Definitely. So our plan is just to hit the highlights.
Yeah.
What really stood out to the commenters on Reddit based only on what they were saying.
Exactly. What did they find surprising or concerning?
Well, first off, that price tag, $18,000. Commenters just couldn't square that with the activities they were hearing about.
Yeah, like you said, getting wet with a hose, playing in sand, some kind of fake ma was mentioned too.
People were saying, that's like more than their rent for a year.
Far.
For that.
It makes you wonder. And a lot of the commenters felt it wasn't really like proper training, more like something else.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. The comments got pretty intense there. A lot of people felt it crossed the line into, well, hazing or humiliation.
Some even used stronger terms, didn't they? I remember seeing things like commenters calling it a homoerotic fantasy or even a degradation kink.
They did. They pointed to descriptions like a wet T-shirt contest, guys being topless, bathing together.
Oh, wow.
Even descriptions of, like, humping each other, and someone quoted a drill sergeant yelling really extreme stuff like, fuck your father and your mother. Just really intense.
Jeez. Yeah, okay. So with stuff like that being discussed, it's maybe not surprising. Commenters made some pretty stark comparisons.
Right. They were saying, look, you could get therapy for way less.
Yeah.
Or, join the actual military where they pay you.
Or even some commenters brought up hiring a dominatrix might be cheaper and more direct if that's what someone was after.
Which really says a lot about how they interpreted the whole thing, doesn't it?
Right.
They didn't just see it as, like, ineffective self-help.
No, it sounds like they saw it as something fundamentally different. And another thing that seemed to bother commenters was the instructors.
Yeah, the point was made that a lot of these instructors apparently didn't even have real military backgrounds, which, feels pretty deceptive given what they were selling.
And some people in the thread tried to figure out why someone would sign up for this, linking it to maybe insecurity or even suggesting connections to certain political views or pipelines.
Yeah, those connections were mentioned, but again, we're just reporting what the commenters themselves were discussing in that thread, not endorsing, just relaying their takes.
Right. Important distinction. Now, here's maybe the most concerning part that came up later in the thread.
The shift.
Yeah. Commenters pointed out that after this adult boot camp closed, the operation reportedly pivoted to running programs for kids.
Yeah, that definitely raised alarm bells for a lot of people commenting, given everything they've just been discussing about the adult version.
Understandable. The idea of shifting that kind of program or whatever it was towards children caused pretty strong reactions and concern in the thread.
Definitely raises questions about oversight,
Big time. So thinking about everything these Reddit commenters observed, the crazy costs, the bizarre activities, the humiliation aspect, those comparisons, and then this pivot to kids, what does that tell you? What does it suggest about maybe what some people are looking for today? Identity, toughness, belonging.
Or maybe it just raises that question the commenters were asking. Who's watching over these programs, especially when they involve kids? Makes you think.